Researchers in Turkey now claim they found indisputable evidence that the story of Noah's Ark.
The search for Noah's Ark is over, but a new, more terrifying mystery has just begun. Deep within the mountains of Turkey, an artifact from the alleged Ark was recovered and analyzed by a quantum AI. Scientists were hoping for confirmation of a biblical story. Instead, the AI discovered a message embedded in the very atoms of the artifact, a message that was never meant for human eyes. We're about to show you the leaked analysis, a terrifying secret about who or what was really on that boat and why it's coming back. The Lost Ark. Near the border of Iran and Turkey, there's been a massive archaeological find that's got people all over the world talking. A group called the Mount Ararat and Noah's Ark research team, made up of folks from Turkish and American universities, has been carefully digging at a place called the Durupanar Formation. This spot, mostly made of a rock called limonite, is surrounded by strange magnetic anomalies, and local legends have long whispered that it might be what's left of Noah's Ark, a famous story in the holy books of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. From the air, the Durupanar site looks just like a massive ship buried in stone, perfectly matching the Bible's description of Noah's Ark. And the latest scans suggest it might not be a coincidence. We're talking about 515 feet long, 85 feet wide, and 49 feet high. The stuff you find there is ancient, from between 5,500 and 3,000 BC. There are weird clay-like materials, things that came from the sea, and even petrified bits of old seafood. It all points to a massive human presence there a long time ago, possibly linked to the Great Flood story. For hundreds of years, people have been obsessed with finding Noah's Ark. Mount Ararat is where the Bible says the Ark landed, and countless expeditions have gone there to look. They found bits of ancient processed wood, seen huge structures that look like a boat, and even taken pictures from the air that make them think the Ark is hidden there. But truth be told, scientists and archaeologists have always been a little skeptical. A lot of old stories say bits of the Ark are still around, but others say it has long since turned to dust. The new stuff found at the Durupanar site makes the hunt for Noah's Ark even more intense. With brand new technology, they found things that could be from the time when the big flood in the story happened. But here's the kicker. This time, they didn't just look at the rocks and wood with their eyes. They brought in a whole new level of technology. Because as dusk fell over the mountains, a small, heavily guarded team collected samples. Samples that were about to reveal a secret far older and stranger than anyone could imagine. This is where the story takes a sharp turn into the unknown. You see, this wasn't just another archaeological dig. A secretive multinational corporation, known for its breakthroughs in quantum computing, got involved. They developed a quantum AI named Oracle, a machine so powerful it could analyze matter at the subatomic level and detect patterns that no human or regular computer could ever hope to find. They convinced the research team to let them run samples from the Durupanar site through Oracle. The mission was top secret. The public was told it was just a geological survey. But in a sterile underground lab miles away, scientists loaded petrified wood, soil samples, and mineral deposits into the quantum AI. They were hoping to confirm the age and composition of the materials. What they found instead, well, it sent a shockwave through the entire project. Oracle wasn't just analyzing what the Ark was made of. It was analyzing the history embedded within the material itself. The AI began processing trillions of data points in seconds, mapping the atomic structure of the wood. The first results started to come in, and the scientists couldn't believe their eyes. They had to rerun the diagnostics 3 times, thinking the machine was broken. It wasn't. What the AI found embedded deep within the petrified wood wasn't natural. It was something that should not have been there, something that defied the laws of nature as we know them. The quantum AI, Oracle, found complex geometric patterns woven into the very cellular structure of the petrified wood. These weren't wood grains or natural fossilization. These were microscopic, perfectly arranged structures, almost like a circuit board or a QR code. It was a form of data storage, incredibly advanced and completely alien. The scientists were stunned. It was as if someone had embedded a high-tech hard drive into a simple piece of wood thousands of years ago. The team worked around the clock, pushing Oracle to its limits, trying to figure out what it all meant. Was it just a freak of nature, a geological anomaly? No. It was too perfect, too complex. After days of non-stop analysis, the AI made another breakthrough. It wasn't just random patterns, it was a language, a complex mathematical language that the AI was, believe it or not, beginning to translate. The information wasn't written on the Ark, it was part of the Ark itself. The team gathered around the main screen, their faces lit by the eerie glow of the data stream. The first words began to form, translated from the atomic code. But this message wasn't what anyone expected. It wasn't a story of salvation or a message from God. The terrifying message. The translated message was not a holy text. It was a log entry, a ship's log. The first decoded sentence sent chills down everyone's spine. Specimen collection complete, planetary cleansing protocol initiated. The architects will be pleased. More and more of the log was translated, and the terrifying picture became clear. The Ark wasn't a boat built by a simple man to save his family and the world's animals from a flood sent by God. The message described the Ark as a genetic repository vessel. The flood wasn't rain, it was a deliberate planetary terraforming event caused by a highly advanced, unknown intelligence, the ones the log called the architects. They weren't saving life, they were collecting it. The beings on the Ark were not passengers escaping a disaster, they were specimens being preserved before their world was wiped clean and restarted. The log described the architects as beings who traveled the cosmos, viewing planets as gardens to be cultivated and periodically weeding them to make way for new evolutionary experiments. The Great Flood was not an act of God's wrath, but an act of cosmic gardening. The most terrifying part? The log's final entry. Humanity Prototype Atom 1 has been seeded, monitoring begins. This implied that the beings on the Ark weren't even the same species as us. The quantum AI didn't stop at the wood. It also analyzed microscopic organic residue found deep within the samples, residue that contained fragmented DNA. This is what sealed the terrifying truth. The DNA did not belong to Homo sapiens. It was similar but distinctly different. It was a precursor race, the original inhabitants of Earth who were wiped out by the flood. And the animals? Their DNA was also different. Many showed signs of what the AI could only describe as genetic engineering, optimized for survival in a post-cataclysmic world. Noah, or whoever the captain of this vessel was, wasn't a farmer. He was a xenobiologist, a zookeeper for an alien collection. This discovery changes everything. It suggests that the story of Noah's Ark and maybe all the other great flood myths from cultures around the world like the Epic of Gilgamesh are just fractured memories of this terrifying event. The stories were passed down for generations, the true meaning lost and replaced with a simpler tale of gods and faith. The chilling implication is that we, modern humans, might not be the original heirs of this planet. We might be the experiment that came after. This isn't just about rewriting one story, this is about rewriting the entire history of life on Earth and questioning our own identity as a species. The evidence from the quantum AI suggests our oldest stories are a cover-up for a truth too terrifying to comprehend. We thought we were looking for the cradle of humanity. Instead, we may have found evidence of our own planned obsolescence. The revelations from the quantum AI left the scientific team in a state of shock and existential dread. For days, they grappled with the implications of their discovery. Humanity, in its entirety, was nothing more than a lab experiment, a replacement for a forgotten precursor race. The weight of this knowledge was crushing, but the AI, Oracle, was not done. It had uncovered another layer of data, a new chapter in this terrifying saga that would make the previous revelations pale in comparison. Deep within the petrified wood, nestled between the log entries about the planetary cleansing protocol, the AI found a new set of geometric patterns. These were different, more complex, and they weren't part of the original data stream. They were a hidden addendum, a secret message within a secret message. It took Oracle another week of relentless processing to decipher this new code, and what it found shattered their understanding of the Ark itself. The Ark, the genetic repository vessel, was not a boat, not in the traditional sense. The new data described it as a sphere, a massive, perfectly round craft, a seed of life designed to float upon the waters of a dying world. The biblical descriptions of a long rectangular ark, the team now realized, were a primitive attempt to describe something far beyond the comprehension of ancient humans. The long rectangular shape found in the Durupanar formation was just a fragment, a piece of the much larger spherical vessel that had crashed or been dismantled after its mission was complete. This new information sent the team scrambling through ancient texts, searching for any mention of a round ark. They found it in a 4,000-year-old Assyrian tablet, a text that had long been dismissed as a historical anomaly. The tablet described the ark as a giant coracle, a round, waterproof vessel. The mainstream archaeological community had laughed at the idea, but now the team knew it was the truth. Long ago, an ancient people called the Assyrians wrote stories about a great flood. It seemed they remembered this event more clearly than the authors of the Bible. Their tales didn't describe a long wooden boat, but a giant round object that floated on the water, saving a small group of survivors. For years, scientists wondered about this difference. Why would the real Ark be a sphere? They turned to their most powerful computer, a super smart AI they called Oracle, to find the answer. Oracle studied all the old text and scientific information. A sphere, it explained, was the strongest and best shape. It was perfect for a ship made to survive the crushing pressure of a worldwide flood. A round surface would spread the force of the water evenly, keeping the ship from breaking. But Oracle found another, more amazing reason. A sphere was also the perfect design for a craft meant to fly through outer space. The Ark, the AI concluded, was never just a boat for carrying animals. It was a lifeboat from another world, a ship that had traveled from a distant star. The scientists dug deeper into the Ark's computer memory. They found hidden files that spoke of the ship's builders, a group known only as the architects. These beings were far more than just planners of life on other planets. They were artists of life itself. The files described them as powerful creatures made of pure energy. With a single thought, they could shape anything and even bend time. To them, the universe was a canvas, and planets were like clay. They created and destroyed whole civilizations, not because they were mean, but because they were always trying to create something perfect. They wanted to make a form of life that could one day be as great as they were. And then, deep inside the sphere's data core, the scientists found the most terrifying thing of all. It was a final secret message, a hidden note left by the architects. It read, "The Atom 1 model has too many mistakes. The Eve version looks better, but we did not expect them to start thinking for themselves. The experiment has gone wrong. A new cleaning is planned. The countdown has begun." The screen in the clean underground lab went dark. The room was filled with a shocked silence. The only sound was the quiet hum of the powerful computer. The words echoed in their minds. A new cleaning, a countdown. The architects were not gone. They were still watching their great experiment from somewhere in the stars, and they were not happy with what they saw. The long search for Noah's Ark was over, but a new and much more frightening search had just begun. It was the search for a way to stop the countdown. It was the search for a way to save all people from their own makers. Are we a miracle of creation or just the latest experiment in a cosmic laboratory? Let us know your theories in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown.